working with the local church to take the hope of Christ to every student in the United States. This is First Priority. Now here are your hosts, Steve Chirico and Brad Skelling.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the First Priority Podcast. I am glad that you're here today. And joining me today, as always, is my good friend, Steve Chirico. Chirico, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It is a great season to be alive. It's a great moment in First Priority. It is fall 2025.
I was just going to say, let's timestamp it right now since you're all falled up. Look at
I
you.
am falled up. Got the long sleeves on. Got the vest on.
You look like you're ready to go to conference.
I am ready for a line.
Yeah,
you want
that's
to
what I'm
timestamp it. That's really timestamp.
I did. I just did. I let it happen.
Yes. We're having fun.
We are.
Yep.
It's good.
Other than the tension of the moment, which is, do you turn the heat on upstairs in the morning and the air conditioning in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Or do you just leave it alone and freeze in the morning? And
my wife told me last night, I'm turning the AC down at 11 so it actually runs in the middle of the night since it's so cold outside. Whatever, lady. I just grab another blanket. Whatever works. Yeah, I'm with you.
I like it.
Totally
I
with
like
you.
it. It's a good season.
It is. It's awesome.
What about First Priority? Tell us a story about First Priority.
Well, story time. Yeah, let's talk about story time. So I have one that's close to home.
Okay.
We have stinking Texas. Let's just start there. Should we start with Texas? Mm-hmm. Stinking Texas. Mm-hmm. We have a club down in the south side of Middle Tennessee called Whitthorne Middle School.
Okay.
It is a club that we're very, very acquainted with the school, very connected to the school, pre-COVID, post-COVID, the whole works, right? And we have had a faithful leader down there for a long time. Club started with 2.
Okay.
Went to 4, 6, 8 sort of thing, but stuck there for a long time. Stuck, under 12 for a long time.
Sure.
And then in the last couple of years, has started to grow. Well, that leader has just accepted leaving his part-time pastor position to be a full-time lead pastor in Texas.
Okay.
Not far from Houston.
Yeah.
And as he leaves, he came to attend the last club he was going to be at. It was an invite week, and 130 kids showed up.
Nice.
It is not only the largest group of kids that have ever been there, it's more than a quarter of the entire population of the school.
Very cool.
So pretty cool moment for him. And so just want to honor Kevin and thank him for his faithfulness. I know he'll plug back in stinking Texas. So mad at Shane right now. I know he'll plug back in Texas, right? I know he will.
Yep.
And he's already said to his church, part of why they hired him was they asked what he had done the last 4 years. And he said, well, let me tell you about this school. Let me tell you about individual students that are graduating from high school. Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if you're that focused on your local community and you're just part-time at a church, like, what would it look like if we just let you run this thing?
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing.
Awesome.
So that's story time with Steve. We're losing one. We've already gotten a new campus coach, which is great. But in the process, the largest number of students ever showed up for I-Week.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, man.
Love it.
Do.
Love it.
Yeah.
And we're hearing stories like that all over the place.
All over.
Right? The app continues to give me ones. I know it's not story time with Brad, but the beginning of the year, our leaders set a goal to fill every seat in the library this school year. By the first Engage week of the year, we filled all but 4 chairs. So that was just this morning. So 9:51 a.m.
Yeah, you and I had lunch with a friend yesterday, right? And as I was driving over to that lunch, over and over again, he talked about the area of South. Well, he's in Florida, right? The area of Florida he's in, that is just like they're blowing and going away as well.
Yeah.
They're used to clubs of 12 to 30.
Yep.
And they're just blowing out of classrooms and libraries and science labs, right? They're just having to find new space. That seems to be the story across the country.
Students are hungry.
They are.
Students are hungry.
Let's fill it.
Yeah, which leads into our conversation today, I believe, which is talking about club health. Why does that matter? And how do we maintain the health of a first priority club? So, because it affects what happens, right?
Correct.
A healthy club will grow. It'll spread. It'll cause that club coach when he moves to Texas to want to start a club there, right? If you have an unhealthy club, those things don't happen. So the little things matter. So let's jump into talking about what does it mean to have club health?
100%. Well, and there are some very, very key things that have to do with a healthy club, right?
Okay.
Numero uno being student-led, and let's just pause there. right?
Okay.
I think one of the things that is interesting for what you and I have done for a long time in this is the reality that we believe the greatest opportunity for a student to hear the good news of Jesus is from another student in their school, right? A peer. And how do you walk steadily in that belief when there's so much going on in the lives of students? And so, student led is one of the first things we've got to talk about. We've got to talk about how do we make sure that we empower students? How do we make sure we help them walk through failure and loss, right? How do we make sure that we train them well enough that they can train one another and disciple one another through that process? So that's numero uno for me. You have any thoughts about student led?
No, I mean, you're talking about our core ministry values, right? We have to stay where we are, or we'll drift, and we don't want to drift. We want to be focused.
We have said at times, even unapologetically, but what I appreciate about not only you, but just our leaders across the country, and I would even dare say this about some of the other ministries that are giving us kind of the same reports, our friends in arms across the country, right? Is that it's unapologetic to be who we are, but it's super grace-filled, right? Hey, there are so many students yet to reach that however we're doing it, let's just make sure that the gospel is getting to them. Right? But you're right. For us and what we do so that mission doesn't creep, we are student led. The second thing is gospel focused. Right? We are super clear. And this one comes across sometimes as we're not a Bible study. You and I have both done that, right? I led a club yesterday with the student leaders, right? I was there as a middle school bantering, helping them lead their club and realized, you're right, we're not a Bible study, but gosh, the Bible's all over it, right? The content that they are walking through is full of the scriptures and caused a lot of the discussion yesterday from the students to really kind of pause and for them to break some things down, because it wasn't that they were biblically illiterate, but some of the things, even terminology that were in it, they were like, hey, we kind of need to define that before we can move to the next thing. So again, one of the things I appreciate about your Epic team is that what we are using content-wise is full of the scriptures, it's full of God's word, and it's full of things that they are, it's not just milk, right? They're having to chew on it a little bit. And I enjoy the fire out of that.
Well, and we stay gospel focused, but we recognize the fact that these students who make up, whether it's 10, 30, or 150, especially when it's 150, these kids probably they've been in the same building together, but they've never been in the same room together, let alone had a conversation with each other, let alone formed a spiritual community. So we want them to form that spiritual community in the midst of staying gospel focused, right? So we believe we can accomplish multiple things at the same time.
It also allows students that are either seeking or just flat lost, speaking as one who was at 14 in a middle school, right? It allows them the right to be in that context. Right? They're not blown away and all of a sudden like, well, I don't belong here. Actually, no, I'm trying to figure it out too. I completely belong here. And again, that's just a gift of the way that the gospel focused agenda works.
Correct.
Which leads me to another one, which is we are mission aligned. Well, what's our mission? Well, the hope of Christ to every student, right? To take the hope of Christ to every student. How do we do that, right? And so our mission has to be so clear that we are trying to ask students, we're trying to empower students to bring in their friends who, again, are either lost or seeking. Hey, you're invited to the conversation. Come be part of this community. Come be connected to it.
And that really keeps us out of all the other conversations that could be had. Because we think about a lot of things, whether it's a political conversation, a theological conversation, a local, whatever happened in the school conversation, to say, we can have those because mental health is important. All of those things are important, but we are mission-focused, gospel-focused, student-led. Let's continue to talk about Jesus, because at the foot of the cross, it's level ground at the foot of the cross, right? So let's establish that level ground so everybody has a platform to go talk about all those other things. And just first priority wants to be that place, that level ground. We're talking about the cross, talking about Jesus, right?
I had to give you brought up, you reminded me of a conversation this week, right? So I had to give a coach some language this week about, hey, when you are coaching these students, and one of those topics that is a very real, very viable, very true topic, something that's the ability to say to them, hey, let's pause that a minute. I'd love to have a conversation with you and a few other students after we get through this today. But we're going to stay really focused on this. I don't want to negate the fact that conversation needs to happen. All the list you just gave, plus about 6 other things that he was talking about, right? And just said, hey, it's okay to say to them, hey, we're headed this direction. We're going to stay focused right here. I'd love to engage that either before, after, or in another moment so I can help you ask the right questions to think that through. I don't even give you the answer. It's not my job. My job is to help you ask the right questions so you can come to a conclusion biblically, and I'd be glad to help you. And he was able to say, oh, yeah, well, then I don't have to say to them, stop, right? It's not a stop sign. It's just hey, the green light's going this way. Do you mind if we just put that to the side and we'll pick it back up together? Super inviting, and it just worked out really well for him.
Love it. Those are little things that, again, you're talking about club health. Training a coach who has never probably been in this type of a coaching situation before, right? In the church, I was just put in charge. Hey, you go do this. And here, we're not just put in charge. We are playing a part of a team and playing a role. And obviously in the church you do too. I don't want to say that, but
just a different hero, different person up front.
Correct. The students are
how to coach that, right?
So, well, where do we go from here? What are some of those? Well, that leads us right into
the secret sauce.
The secret sauce. So the key ingredients of a healthy club. And I noticed in our notes here, the wonderful and gifted Tayana, did our 5-star. I got to put my old man glasses down so I can show you this. Printed the 5-star club evaluation. This has stood the test of time. Right? Because we stay focused, because we don't drift. The epic content changes every year, right? Because the students do pick up on, hey, is this the same thing? This type of thing. That stuff changes. The students change. The teacher changes. All these things, but we still always need a strong leadership team.
And if you're not familiar with the 5-star club review, it's going to be in the content notes. It would be well worth your time to take a look at it. Super easy, 1-pager, not threatening at all, but good to not only go through yourself, but to also grab your main leaders, your leadership team, and say, let's walk through this and just see where we are, right? Let's just ask the right questions.
Can I also direct them to firstparty.club/resources?
Well, that's the link I was hoping she was going to put on.
Okay. Well, just specifically so they can type that in and say, hey, here's where those resources are. You can find this evaluation. You find all the other stuff too, the club constitution and bylaws and Epic, all those things are up there, but you'll specifically find this PDF and at the resources page.
Good.
So
I'll go through it.
Yeah. Strong student leadership team. Do leaders have 5 roles? This lists 5 roles, and I'm going to acknowledge that some places have more than that. Some places have less than that. But obviously, you need a student speaker to give the content that we mentioned before. We need things like students standing at the door, welcoming everybody in. We need somebody who's organizing and administrating behind the scenes. Hey, do we need some food? Do we need some cards, response cards? What week is it? What's happening? We need that administrator role. Some people have a marketing role. Hey, do you have, who's promoting it and what can we promote? Can we all share the same graphic? Things of that nature on our socials to invite friends. So lots of different roles, a host to welcome and pray and make announcements, things of that nature. So I think those are the 5 accurate, most common roles. And then, like I said, there's some
we fill in the blank
additions and subtractions from there. But you need a strong leadership team made up of all those people.
Yeah, and again, just give you a little bit of shout out in your team. One of the things that we appreciate on a local level is on the app. Once we're done with planning the month, we can throw that right into the app.
Correct.
And all those things are there waiting for us. So it makes it super easy for the students to go to and be reminded.
Been the intention of the app. There's been some places now, Tennessee being one of them, where we're sitting where phones aren't allowed in school all the time.
Supposedly. Depends on your county.
Correct. I haven't kept up with that at the moment, but yeah, it depends on where you're at. So, but it's still a good planning resource. So students can walk into the school because they have their phone on them. They can take a look. Hey, is club still meeting? Where are we meeting? Who's leading? And they can have all that information at their fingertips. So second part, train club coach. And you already mentioned some of that stuff, just a little, you're coaching coaches, you're leading the leaders, but have the coaches been trained by First Party? Do they know what they need to do? Do they make sure that these students are prepared and ready to go? And do they have a backup plan? That's not always in the training. Always make sure you got a backup plan, because I know the clubs that I've coached in the past, those kids all of a sudden miss a test. They were sick yesterday, and they're coming before school to do an algebra test. They're not coming to school to lead the first priority club anymore. So always have a backup plan. And yeah, again, we talked about a student leader do they have the response cards and that organizing, but the coach is there to help make sure those things are happening also.
It's good.
So
it's good.
What's next?
Engage church partner, making sure that there's local and church engagement with the club.
Yeah.
Which often happens through that campus coach, right?
Correct.
But again, just one of the beauties of what we do and who we are and our DNA, right? That campus coach is involved in a network of churches that,
correct.
Because it's very unlikely that there's one church represented in that group of students. It does happen.
Yep.
We trained a local campus this weekend, and it was mostly one school or one church for that one school, right? But on a normal, there are 15 churches represented here for the 30 kids that have showed up, right? And so having the ability to engage local church and really be uppercase C and uppercase K minded, right? The local church, uppercase C, the local kingdom uppercase is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about the Summit High School club that I coached for so many years pre-COVID. And yeah, the PKs that came through from Wellspring and just all the churches, Christ Church. It's cool to remember those kids and all the different churches they came from. Yeah. Just the connections that were there.
Yep.
How about the active teacher sponsor is crucial, because again, the first thing that comes to mind is sitting in the hallway running a club because the teacher didn't show up on time when we're getting started, because we only got 30 minutes and we got to get going. So, I mean, you always make orange juice out of oranges, but lemonade out of lemons.
That's usually
there
how
we
it
go.
goes, yeah.
Okay, one of those things. But yeah, we had kids walking through saying, "Hey, what's going on?" and inviting them in. So you had some invitations, but it's nice to have a teacher sponsor who is there with you, showing up, unlocking the door, present for those meetings, and making sure that the club knows about all the opportunities that the administration offers, like parent emails and announcements and bulletin boards and things of that nature to get the word out.
And they teach, and they are wired a certain way. Most, not all, but most teachers are wired a certain way, right? And so they like details in order. They like things ready to go. There's that physics teacher who walks around with the school with his hair on fire at all times, right? There's that exception.
Yep.
But your standard teacher, your person that's every day, like involved the students, is like, hey, I want T's crossed, I want I's dotted. And that is really, really good for us, because it means our interaction with the school administration is on point. So when that teacher's there, things are happening the right way.
And we've been hearing a lot more about that this year, mostly because there's a few states that have passed permission slip laws. Yeah. And so there's some new hoops to jump through, things that you have to do. You're based on the personalities of that principal, what rules they're putting in place versus, the teacher's like, oh, here's how we work through that. Here's what the principal wants us to do. Just making sure we're following the rules of the land at the moment. Because, right now there's a number of different things happening depending on where you are. Yeah. So
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
What else we got there? Repeated 4-week cycle.
Well, and the only thing I was going to bring up that one is that is becoming more and more difficult.
Why is that?
Because the calendar is not for us, it's against us. The number of days off, the number of things that are going on, like the calendar is not for us. I used to train, especially campus coaches, I used to train with the calendar is your friend. It's going to help you. It's going to guide you. And man, in this day and age with as many things that are going on in a local school campus and with students, calendar's not always for us. And so the one that I want to bring up is the ideal that, hey, no matter what, because we're a gospel focused club, if you only get 2 weeks in, you got to have an invite week. You got to have a time like the gospel is shared by a student.
Yep. Well, and that's why for us in the national office, I try to stay out of making decisions, but we put a 9-month calendar in the front of this year's Epic Guide to say, plan this. You know when you don't know when it's going to snow or when a tornado is going to hit or whatever situation that it shuts down, some of the homecoming pep rallies, you probably know most of it, even if it's not on, like, you don't know when the testing schedule is going to change. And so there's some leeway there, but you can look at that and say, here's our 9 months. here are the 8 times we can have that invite week or that engage week to say, we're going to plan on this. Because if you do that, as soon as you write it down, you can also pivot a little easier as well.
I was just going to say the same. The number of clubs for us that have been Thursday clubs that have said, hey, because of what's going on this week, we're going to meet on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And it's still packed.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Because they planned it.
100%.
They're aware of it.
Yeah.
They can go into the app and move it. You can make an announcement in there. There's several things, if you're a week or two ahead, that can dramatically increase your effectiveness.
Yeah.
Which, the effectiveness, sincere decisions for Christ is the S of stars, the 5 club or the 5 stars club evaluation. When we see students come to know Jesus in the midst of all of that chaos, in the midst of missed meetings, in the midst of sitting in the hallway, whatever your situation is this year, the goal, the guarantee, if we were a business, would be, hey, we'll see students come to know Jesus.
Correct.
Right? Even if that invite week is missed one time, something happens, we're still going to be fairly consistent. We're going to get there. We're going to keep moving, because if we keep moving, we're going to be an overnight success someday.
Yep.
And we're just looking for the next one, right? Who's God calling you to today?
Which the 5-star review is great.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about scenarios where we get through the 5-star review and realize that there are some things that are not mission focused. There are some things that have crept away from who we are and what we do, right?
Yep.
So let's just talk about the one that's always in front of us, which is there's an adult leader that is kind of dominating this conversation. There's an adult leader dominating the conversation each week.
Yeah.
Right. So what are some steps that can be taken when we realize that's a fact?
Well, your example from earlier, coaching, just one-on-one, here's how you deal with that situation. It's not a stop and taking over. It is hey, this is a piece of it. We're going to stay focused and we'll deal with this later, right? It's doing that. I'll say that it's not common language. Actually, we put some of this language in our training materials, but it's not necessarily public, what we train every coach, but an 80-20 rule to say, there is a 20% opportunity for a coach to speak into and coach, right? The coach is not on the field during a football game on a Friday night, but they are speaking into the football game during the game.
Screaming their heads off or calling timeout. 100% both ways.
Never cussing. So
no, not at all.
Yeah, not at all.
We wouldn't do that
Football coaches don't do that.
No.
Neither do first party coaches.
No, 100%.
That didn't need to be said, I hope. But we said it anyway, just in case.
Poor Tayana.
Right? She's leaving that one in there. But to say, hey, there are 20% opportunities. Again, there are variations out there. One of the things I heard do is they give every club coach just a question to walk in, like a get to know you question. So before the club, they can be part of that welcoming environment with the students who are standing at the door. Yeah. The club coach can be like, hey, here's a question for today. Let's all talk about it. Just getting the room lit up a little bit at the beginning. That's a great way for a coach to not be dominating the meeting, but to be participating. And there's just little things like that.
100%. To
say, hey, we're going to give you this, but we need to let the students lead the meeting.
What if, again, we hear about these stories, so I'm curious about what you're hearing from our leaders. Mm-hmm. What if we've got a school situation where it's not been said directly to us, hey, we're kind of against your club. We're kind of doing things, but it's pretty obvious that the club keeps getting moved. The teachers keep moving off, right? What if there's a scenario with a school, and I'm talking specifically to FP leaders or FP coaches at the moment, right? People that are bought in. Mm-hmm. What are some things that they can do to try to get that thing back on track and try to get to the root of what the issue might be?
So you're asking school administration is kind of giving them a runaround.
A little bit. Even though club seems to be running, it's all of a sudden it's canceled again and again. Yep. Hey, your classroom's been taken over for this test or whatever. And what are some ways that you can go bring clarity to that?
Well, speak directly to the admin. Ask what's going on. Is there a remedy to this? Don't assume,
Don't accuse.
Don't accuse.
Yep.
Be respectful of the authority. Open hand, because it's a privilege to be there.
It is.
The students are the ones with the rights, right? They're the ones with freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. So we're there to serve the students. So approach that conversation with that servanthood and even bring the students with you and coach them to have that conversation. You got a couple, strong student leaders who are humble and gentle, right? Always be ready to share the reason for the hope that you have, but do it with gentleness and respect. It doesn't have to just be the gospel conversation. It can also be this conversation with your principal.
It's good.
In that. So
we have found a couple scenarios in the Tennessee as well as Cincinnati groups that I get to serve, right, where we've had to say to a coach, hey, thank you for serving, but I'm not sure that this is exactly where that this fits you, right? Because you either want to be the hero or you're really not. You're kind of assuming you have the right to be on campus and you have zero rights at the moment. And so there's been a couple scenarios where we've been able to sit across from somebody and say, I'm not sure that what we do and who we are fits you really well.
Sure.
Can we walk that out? And I don't know of any of those scenarios where people have left the room, at least to our face. I can't stand you. I can't like angry and like I'm never speaking to you again. Right. But we've had to remove, for lack of a better, just ask volunteers, hey, to do something different. Because they weren't doing the things you just said. They weren't going for clarity and they weren't assuming that they were a guest and a visitor. Right. And so that's not a terrible thing. That's an okay thing as a director or a co-campus coach to say, because of who we are so clearly, you just may not be called to this. And that's okay.
Well, and in some of those situations too, it may be good just to pause.
There you go.
Pause the club. To say, hey, we need to take a break. It's a couple weeks. We're getting into Thanksgiving. Let's reconvene at Thanksgiving. Let's throw a little party. Let's see where things are at. Let's let the dust settle. Whether it's a school administration issue, a coach issue, whatever the case might be, it's okay just to say, hey, let's pause this for a minute. Because it's better to have 3 weeks off than to go through the whole entire year and get to the end of the year and wonder if you did anything.
Yeah, you remind me of a pause that's even caused by us. That's really good, by the way. The whole Selah thing comes to mind, right? Just that holy pause. But we have a school that we've had for 13 years, and there is not a single club meeting this year. One of our counterparts, FCA, who we love the Drapers and FCA, right? They have figured out a way to do it outside of campus. And so they're doing that right now to just figure things out because they too have been paused. All clubs have for this overcrowded school. And so we're just being super patient, communicating with our campus coach, waiting on the Lord. But 13 years, that's a long time for a club to have been established. And this year we're not meeting.
Can't go.
But nobody is, right? It wasn't a us. It was a blanket, which is how they have to deal with it, right? So it's interesting. That's a new one for us.
Okay.
We're walking through that. And it still doesn't exist. It's still sitting. I know. Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. Wait, you weren't talking about me and the club I haven't started
No,
yet.
It wasn't you. I wasn't talking about that.
Yeah. Anything else with this? Healthy rebuild. What else is coming to mind?
What I would say is those of you who are out there who are connected to the podcast would love to hear, as we've talked about the 5-star eval, as we've talked about the different things that you face. I shared some stories. Brad's talked to us about some things he's walked through, either heard about or walked through himself. But in the comments, in the discussion points, would love to hear. And again, we're going to be together in another week. I'm time stamping it. Sorry, but we're going to be together soon, right? And so bringing those conversations to the table would be super healthy for all of us. As we land, what I appreciate most about who we are and what we do is that all the good ideas, all the things that really work, were tested, tried, and true on the local campus. Right? We are just conglomerating with one another and bringing those to one another, saying, actually, I've done this for 3 years and it really works, right? Heather with the binders. So bring those conversations, put them up in the comments for us as you share. Make sure that you're putting some stuff in there that we can respond to.
Well, and to me, I guess my final thought would be we have to balance the urgency of the gospel with, feeling like we have to do whatever it takes, right? And it has to happen right now or whatever. And I even go big picture. You mentioned FCA and other ministries. Mark and I were at the Campus Alliance a couple weeks ago. We talked to Chuck again the other day and just talking about, hey, there's thousands of schools that are not adopted right now by a Christian group to say, hey, do we know that there's somebody praying, caring, or sharing on that school campus? And we want to link arms with those people. And we have an urgency to do that because we can't be everywhere.
Yep.
And you're talking about that even here. You want to be everywhere, but there's a pause in a place. So we're by default not everywhere. And yeah, what is the Lord doing? What is he stirring?
Yep.
Because I do feel like people keep asking me, is there a more urgency with the politics of the moment, with the Charlie Kirk of the moment, whatever the thing might be? And I say, I've been feeling a spiritual wave for 5 years since 2020. Like there was the undertow that came up, and now this wave has been building. Yep. Do I attribute it to any one thing other than a growing hunger and even awareness of the gospel?
That's good.
By this teenage generation? And the one thing that I've been saying, as much as anything, these group of kids are the probably first group of kids to walk through their entire pre to graduation doing intruder drills.
Yeah.
Right? Like my son is 20, my oldest is 25. He was born in 2000 when some of that stuff started coming, but they weren't doing that regularly yet. So he kind of, and not that didn't create any PTSD for him there, but I mean, one of my friends on Facebook wrote about her son talking about that, saying, hey, he's aware. Is he numb about it? No, he's just waiting for it to happen to him. Yeah. Right. And there's that. Yeah. To me, some of that, I mean, all of these things are just building to say, hey, there's an urgency of the gospel in this generation. Yep. They know the truth. They're not afraid anymore because, I mean, they know they might not have time. Yeah. Right. And so what's happening right now, I don't know. I think God's on the move. I think students are responding. Let's make sure that it's healthy and we stay focused. Let's empower these kids. And it's good. It's really good. Well, friends, that's another discussion between Brad and I and you. Thanks for joining us today on the podcast. Like I said before, if you don't mind commenting, liking, sharing on your favorite platform, we'd be more than grateful for that. Yeah. Appreciate you. Keep up the good work and look forward to connecting. Till the next time.